All right, everyone. Thank you for attending today. My name is David King. I'm with Appulate. I'm the Customer Success Manager here. Well, I'm joined today by Lloyd Sabatelli and Kyle Friedman from Snyder Specialty and Go By Flood. We're going to do a presentation today, including details about their program, as well as how to get started in Appulate to use their program. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Lloyd. Lloyd, are you able to see my presentation?
I 100% can see the presentation. Yep.
Excellent. All right. Do you want to go ahead and get started on your side, and then just let me know when you want to hand it over to me?
Okay, perfect. So good morning, good afternoon to everyone. I appreciate you taking the time this busy holiday season to participate in our webinar. We're excited about our private flood product that we're currently offering through Lloyd's. Just to give you a little background, both my firm, Snyder Specialty, and Kyle's firm's SLB, this is a joint effort between our offices, and we've been in the London marketplace for over 20 years. And we're excited about the new private flood product that we're able to offer through the London market, where our program is actually underwritten through Hiscox. Hiscox has been one of the #1 writers of private flood through the London marketplace, and they've been doing it for over 7 years now with over $120 million in premium volume. It's important to know there are a lot of pop-up private flood products out there now, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that when we're offering a flood product, that the paper is going to be there behind the product to be able to pay the claims. And Hiscox has been doing this a long time. They've suffered already through several major flood losses, and they're looking to continue and expand and grow their program. And they're excited to be a partner of ours because we do actually write also other products with them beyond just flood. So they are a good London relationship that we have, and is continuing to grow. Overall, as you all know, private flood is certainly available as a replacement to NFIP. NFIP still holds the largest share of flood insurance out of the marketplace, between 47 billion and 59 billion of premium. So there is certainly room to grow, and for you guys to take advantage of that and offer better rates and forms than NFIP, protecting your E&O and making some decent commission at the same time. Our product is available. This is a residential flood product. It's available for primary, secondary, seasonal, tenant occupied, and vacant dwellings. The only thing we're really not looking to write is course of construction. That's not something we're looking to do. Any kind of mobile home or trailer, it's not something that fits our program appetite either. But other than that, up to a 3-family dwelling would qualify for our program, whether it's in an individual name, an LLC name, a trust name. Any of those are available for coverage under our program. As far as accepted areas, we're writing pretty much anywhere in the US except for Hawaii, Alaska, and Texas. And Texas might actually come on board soon, but for the most part, we're pretty much available anywhere in the US. As far as limits are concerned, as compared to NFIP, which, you know, we can do a matching policy of the same 250,000 on the dwelling, 100,000 on contents. We offer a full replacement cost policy as well. And the qualifying factors is that the total replacement value of the home has to be less than $2.5 million to qualify for the program. Our dwelling maximum limit that we could offer is 2.25, but a TIV of 2.5. So really, there's a good realm of the types of houses that we could write value-wise, but if somebody wants less than their full replacement value, it is available in our program. The only thing would be is if someone had a $3 million house, that wouldn't qualify for coverage in our program, even if they only wanted the NFIP matching limits, because the replacement cost of the house is over the 2.5 million and it's going to kick it out. Our policy also offers a contents maximum of 70% of the dwelling limit, which is a high amount. Other structures, even if you take a matching NFIP type quote, you automatically get a separate limit for other structures of 10% of the dwelling limit, as opposed to something like if you had a policy with NFIP, other structures are included in the dwelling limit. So you're eroding the dwelling limit if you did have other structures coverage needed. Loss of use coverage is available up to 20% of the dwelling limit. It's not mandatory that you do buy loss of use, but it is available as a coverage option. We do offer as well automatically basement contents if there was a basement for $15,000 as opposed to excluding it as NFIP does. As I said before, we do offer NFIP matching limits of $250,000 on the dwelling, $100,000 on contents. And here's an interesting kicker in our program, ordinance or law. So the way NFIP works is that it's basically $30,000 max is what you could get. Under our policy, it's $30,000 or 5% of the dwelling limit, whichever is greater. And something that's an older home, this is definitely a benefit in coverage. When certain flood claims happen, I remember when Sandy happened, that a lot of people were able to raise their house based on the ordinance of law section under the NFIP policy, but it was tough to sometimes prove the percentage of the house that was damaged to trigger ordinance of law. None of that exists in our program. It just automatically triggered if needed. Our waiting period is only 7 days if it's not for replacement of an existing flood policy, or if it's not for a loan closing. The waiting period is only 7 days in our program as compared to the 30 days in NFIP. And the best part of our program is that regardless of how much business that you do right with our program, we are paying 15% commission, and we make it very easy to pay us on a net basis to hold your commission immediately instead of waiting for it through our system where you pay without a fee using your agency checking account. I guess that for the most part wraps up as far as like what our highlights are of our program. But what we want to do now is David's going to run through a rating example, and I'm sure that's going to also lead to some additional questions on what you can and cannot do in our program.
Thanks, Lloyd. Yeah, before we do that, does anybody have any questions directly in regards to what Lloyd just covered? There is a question section. Feel free to ask those questions now. I don't see any coming through. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the presentation side of things. Okay, go ahead and close this out. All right, so all of you that have attended today more than likely already have an Appulate account. If you do not, we're going to go through the steps of if you don't and if you do. So if you don't have an Appulate account, you just simply go to appulate.com. It brings you to this website here. Just simply click log in. From here, what I recommend you do is try forget password first. Put your main email address with your company on there into this space and hit password reset. If it says it doesn't exist, then you'll need to create that email account on the previous page right here by going sign up. And it's just a few steps to go through this to get your agency signed up. Now, once you've signed in, which I'll go ahead and do here, the only thing you need to do from here, and let me just kind of clear this out here, one moment. From here, what you need to do is you just need to go up to tools and you need to go to Appulate Uplink. This is the software that's going to bridge your Accord data directly into Appulate, speeding your submission up. You can do this manually as well, but it's highly recommended if you're using Accords to bring the data in. So from here, what we're going to basically do is you're going to select what your agency management system is, and you're going to hit download Uplink driver. Mine says for Windows. You can choose whatever, whichever driver you want here. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose, I'll just choose Epic, for example, and I'll hit download Uplink driver for Windows. And it downloaded it up here. And then you just simply click on this link and you're going to follow the on-screen instructions to get this signed up. Now, this is going to install what's a printer driver to your computer. What this printer driver will then do is when you open up an Accord, it'll bring that data directly in. Now, let me see if I had my, all right, let's see here. I don't have an Accord 80, so we're just going to do a manual one for today. So what you can do here, we're going to just do it manually today. We're going to, instead of doing an Accord. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Tom Jones. And as you notice, just the asterisk is the only place that's required today. Okay. From here, I just hit request new quote, select the line of business, I'm choosing personal flood. I'm going to hit create request. From here, I want to go either up to Tom Jones and I can enter additional information to Tom Jones, or I can go back into this quote by clicking here. Okay. From here, I want to just make my effective date updated. So I'm just going to change this out. Actually, 112 is good. We'll keep that. Now, this is the big part everybody needs to really pay attention to. We're going to add our market here. So I click this little plus button and I just type in go by. And if you notice here, go by flood shows up right here with this little lightning bolt. Now I'm going to use the testing market so that I don't push one to production, but you would select this go by flood right here. This is going to act the same. It's just going to give us a different example here. Okay. So from here, I'm going to hit start quote. Okay. So here we've got date must be a little further out. So I'm going to push this to February. Oh, must be, oh, earlier. My apologies. Misread that. So let's do 12. We'll do 24. There we go. Okay, Tom Jones. This is policy replacing or effective 8 days in the future. Okay. So for the address, we'll put an address in. I think Lloyd, you said no Hawaii, no Texas, and no.
No Texas, no Hawaii, and no Alaska.
Okay. So I'll put an address in here. We'll do Kansas. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay. Same as mailing address. Yes. What is the type of construction? We'll say it's a frame construction. Is the location manufactured home? So these are your knockout questions. So if you answer some of these, if you notice, as Lloyd said earlier, no mobile homes. So it would tell you decline immediately. Occupancy type, we'll say primary. Square footage, we'll say 1,600 square foot. We'll say it's 2009, 1 story, not elevated. We'll say replacement cost is, let's go, I don't know, 380.
So a lot of times when you're running through this, we have several
Mhm.
APIs running in the background. If it recognizes the address that you've entered, it actually will run the replacement cost automatically for you that you wouldn't have to enter this.
That's great. Type of foundation, we'll say slab. No basement, of course. And then no claims. And everybody, it's that easy. Now, one other thing you can do if you have questions here that you're not sure of, maybe you need to contact your insured. We have this ability here as well called Ask Insured. You can just simply click on this and you can send your insured any questions that you don't know the answers to. So maybe I didn't know if it was elevated or not. I could just hit this Ask Insured feature, follow through these steps here. It's really simple and it'll allow me to choose the questions from these, whether I want to send, which ones I want to send the insured or not. And it will send an email to your insured. They'll click the link. They'll get a very similar type of screen as this right here. They'll answer those questions. They'll hit save. And then the data gets pushed back into Appulate for you automatically. And then you just open up your quote back up and you finish the quote like we're about to do right here. So it's a real great way to use technology as your aid to get these questions instead of having to reach out directly to the insured. In our case, we're ready to move forward. We've got no little red numbers beside it. Go ahead and hit request quote here. Bear with it just a moment.
It doesn't usually take this long. There must be a delay of some type, but it usually is almost instant.
Yeah, and it could be my end. I had some internet issues yesterday. Give this just a little bit more time here. There we go. All right. So we've got 3 prepared quotes that were given to us. We can open them up. We can take a look at them. Lloyd, do you want to go over what the difference of each of these quotes are so that our agents know?
Yeah, so I believe what we have here is there's one option where it's just giving you a dwelling limit of 250,000. Then there's another option where it is a full replacement cost quote. And then there's another option where it's 250 on the dwelling and 100,000 on the contents to match the NFIP full limits.
Great.
Kyle,
Yeah.
am I correct in saying that? I believe so. That's what these three options are. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
Yes,
that right here.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
Perfect. So then what you do when you're ready to move to the next step here, you hit continue submission. Now, at this point here, you're greeted with the request for an appointment. So the great thing about Go by Flood is you're able to get that free quote in the system. But of course, in order to bind this quote, you need to go through the appointment process. Lloyd, I'm assuming it's fairly easy with you guys to get appointed so long as you meet basic criteria.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason why you wouldn't get appointed unless you weren't licensed, didn't have E&O, or unwilling to sign the agreement. But other than that, it's boom, we'll get back the documentation and open you up right away. The other beauty about our system is that if you get an indication if there's a quote, no, a premium there, it's something that's going to be bindable. There's no referral as far as the quotes are concerned for us to approve them before you could bind them. Once you're open to do business, you could quote and bind anything as long as if there's a premium, it's bindable. So it's really, really easy.
Great. And then Lloyd, once they hit continue submission, uh, correct me, but does it go? They don't go into your system. You guys quote it back. You guys push it back to them directly, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what'll happen is Kyle will process your quote for you and then send you back a bindable proposal once you're appointed. But as you can tell, it's very simple in the Appulate system to get started. If any of you have any issues with getting started with this, if you struggle with this at all, feel free to reach out to me directly or our support team. My direct email address is dking, K-I-N-G, at appulate.com. I'm more than happy to walk any of you through getting set up and started to quote for Go by Flood. If any of you have any questions right now regarding this process or about Go by Flood's program, please feel free to ask these questions. Looks like we do not have any question. Oh, what carrier is Go by Flood? Rafael Martinez.
It's Lloyd's, but the syndicate that we're using in Lloyd's is Hiscox. So it's a Lloyd's, it's not admitted Lloyd's-based product, which is how pretty much most of the private flood products are being written today is through Lloyd's. Different syndicates, but ours is Hiscox.
Great. Do we have any other questions, everybody? Anything you want me to go through? Oh, go ahead, Lloyd.
No, I was just also going to say, if after the webinar, if they want to send me a question beyond this, I mean, I know the system allows them to ask questions, but they could email me also. And that's L Sabatelli, it's Sabatelli at Snyder, Snyder, specialty.net, just so you have my direct email as well if you have questions after the webinar.
Yeah, and we're going to be sending a copy of this webinar as well as some additional information for you guys once you after the webinar. So you guys will all receive a copy of this if you need to go back through it and access anything. Oh, okay. We got another question, Raphael. I saw a Hiscox page. Is anything through Hiscox?
So yes, this is a Hiscox platform that we're licensed to sell through our agreement with Hiscox, their flood product. You might see their flood product through some other vendors out there in the marketplace, but we've enhanced what they offer on their product. Ours is so simple because we've layered several APIs over the Hiscox API to make it much easier for you to quote the Hiscox product. But this is a Hiscox product. But all we're offering through this is the flood product. That's what this is, a residential flood product.
Perfect. Yeah, and this is what I will suggest to everyone. It doesn't hurt to get a free quote. So if you've already got a preferred vendor that you use for flood now, and you're considering Go by Flood, it's as simple as just adding them as a market name, like I showed you here, clicking a few steps, and you can get some quotes and just compare them against what you have already.
Yeah,
It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, I would say just to keep trying because flood is not like homeowners. So there's always a black box when it comes to rating flood, no matter who the carrier is. So it could be one block, they're very, very competitive, and two streets over, they're not. So just because you may not get the most competitive price right out of the gate on one particular risk, I would say to keep trying because Hiscox is very aggressively looking to write more business, and we keep receiving emails about certain zip codes where they've reduced their rates. So I would say where one carrier might be expensive, we might be more competitive, or vice versa. Our system is easy enough to quote that it really isn't painful to try us on anything that you have to get out of flood quote, and it's certainly offering flood quotes to your insureds, protects your E&O with what we've seen in today's world with flood events. It certainly would make sense if they don't want to buy it, you have them sign off that they don't want the coverage, but you'd be surprised how many people don't realize that it's not included on their homeowner's policy and that they need separate coverage. We see it time and time again. So we would say just keep trying us. Like I said, any other questions about the product or why something didn't qualify, reach out to us. For the most part, the only thing that's going to be a hard stop on something not qualifying would be if it's one of the states where we're not writing, or if there was any prior claims, that's going to be a hard stop, or the construction type of those that I mentioned that were excluded would be a hard stop. But beyond that, almost anything passes through to be able to get a quote.
Another question we've got here, is there any commissions from non-licensed state referrals?
So non-licensed, what is that? State referrals?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what this is. It sounds like a referral from maybe you're not writing in that state. Raphael, if you could expand on that a little bit. Oh, I was correct. So if you're not licensed and you're referring to another state, I think I think I can answer this. And I think in order to write anything, you've got to be licensed.
Yeah, we're pretty much this particular product, the way it's structured is that you have to be licensed, and Hiscox would require that you're licensed in order to obtain commission on a policy.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you, Raphael. Good questions. Anybody else have any questions? Still got lots of time. All right, we're going to give this just another minute here. If nobody's got any questions, I don't want to keep you guys all day here. Any questions about the program? Any questions about one-offs? I mean, you got the guys here. They're going to answer these questions for you.
Yeah,
Let's.
there's no minimum premium threshold requirements as far as volume is concerned. So if you're not really geared up to talk typically write flood, one policy is fine, 100 or better, but we would take one policy too. So wherever you feel that you have a need or that somebody is asking about it, like I said, it's easy enough to quote it. So I would say to give us a shot, and we're always available to walk you through another demonstration if that's something that you feel that you need. But I think it's pretty straightforward with the rating side. So it would be a matter of if you just have questions about the coverage itself. If you think about something after the webinar is over, certainly reach out to either David or myself.
Is this direct or agency billing?
It is agency bill. So the beauty of it is that you would go on to our ePay link. There's no fee to use our ePay link for this flood product, and you will be paying us the net commission, the net premium due on the product. So it would be you collecting the premium from the insured. You can't have the insured paying our ePay link because you're going to be retaining the commission. So you'd be collecting the premium from the insured and then paying us net. Agency bill net through our ePay link? But that's a good question.
All right, I'm not seeing any more questions. Final call, everyone. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. I thank everybody for attending today. Hopefully we see you guys do some quotes with Go By Flood here soon. And again, if you guys have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us directly. You will receive a copy of this webinar here typically within 24 hours. We'll try to get that out to you guys. I think Kyle should be able to get that out by tomorrow, hopefully. And that's it. All right, thank you, everyone. You guys have a wonderful day. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.